Alright, we're gonna get started. So they're recording at this point in time. You can find this on YouTube, but I'll attach you to a link. Alright, and it's being streamed. But we're gonna get going. We are making today your tortilla Espagnola, and you're gonna have it with Piperade. You can make any version of it, so I'm just teaching you the basics, and it's up to you to go and change up whatever version you want to make it, and that'll be shown on Thursday. So take your time with your new partner to show at this from now on, anything that we're going to do is up to you in terms of what you would like to make it creative. It can be creative plating, to creative adding garnishes to it, making it seasonal, but also it's how you want to make everything a little bit of your own twist to it. Okay, so you own this dish instead of it's my dish. Right? So yeah, it's getting exciting and it's gonna be fun. So we're gonna get started with the onions, and then we're gonna caramelize the onions. Okay, and then while that happens, I'm gonna go and start doing my my vegetables. The vegetables actually has the most flavor when you char it. So you will get to play with fire, and you will, and this is why I love having this. You get to burn your, first of all, you're going to go and burn your pepper. Okay, place it right on the fire. It's going to be fine. You want it to be charred black. What that does is that it creates this really smoky taste. Okay, that's going to go with the smoked paprika. So let me go and let you smell the smoked paprika. All right, and this is a very distinct flavor that you have in Spanish cooking. While that happens, I'm going to start my ragu because of the fact that I have this, usually you're going to julienne, okay? You're going to julienne your onions, but because I have extra, I might as well just use this, all right? So, and don't worry if it just starts crackling, like as if it's a campfire, you're going to be fine. So, similar to Italy, Spain has really good olive oil. Actually, even better olive oil than Italy. That's what I found.
This smoked pepper, right? Like
Smoked pepper, yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm smoking it. I'm charring it and making it black. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of my onions in here. All right, and I'm gonna get that going. Okay, and what I'm gonna do, and remember, this is supposed to be half an onion julienne, but I'm actually just cooking it with the dice because I had some extra diced onion. So it's around half a cup or so. And I'm going to go and cook it. It starts off by being brown. And while that happens, you want a little bit of water ready to go. Because you want to not turn it burnt black. You want it to leave it brown. So this is a nice black color that you want. So get it all over. Because what you're going to do is you're going to have that turn burnt, and then you're going to take off the skin. Okay? So while that happens, I'm just going to go and get my eggs ready to go. I'm going to get my sauce going. And I'm going to get my garlic going. So however much garlic you want. Love garlic, add a little bit more. Don't like garlic, just less. Okay. So I like garlic, so I'm going to go with 2. All right. So as this cooks, you need to add a little bit of salt just to break. Salt helps break things down. So can you see everything pretty clearly? Yeah. All right. The only thing you can't really see are details when I start cutting. So. Anyone like do this? Anyone have a gas stove? Yeah. Now you have a chance, you have an excuse to burn things at home. Say to your family, yeah, I'm just burning some peppers, burning some vegetables. Chef said I could do that. And it's completely okay. Right? So, give this a nice toss. You like this? Right? Okay. I'm going to take my garlic and I'm going to slice it nice and thin. guys want, as you go and look onto YouTube, you are able to, I have to go and give you the link. But once you guys are in, you're able to go and see all the stuff that's on YouTube. And then, just said that, and it's on YouTube now, just kidding. And then, when you guys are cooking, so when you are looking at the video, I just want you to know that you can make comments and, well, you can comment to me. It's not going to be a high quality video, but if there's anything that you want to change or give feedback, I would love that. Okay. So, right. So this first part will take a little bit longer. So get your onions started first, because that's the part that takes the longest. It takes a long time to get properly caramelized onions. Alright? And it takes a while to get this nice and charred. Alright? So just to keep that in mind, and you don't want it to be high heat, you actually want to distribute the heat nicely. Okay, and get it to brown. And what I mean by caramelized onions is not just, anyone, you eat hot dogs with, brown onions, right? That onion it's brown throughout. It's not just little spots of white and a little bit of brown. It should be brown throughout. And not one part is burnt and one part is not. So keep that in mind. Okay? So I got this literally 100% black. And that's what you want. Once you got that going, alright, so you're going to put it in here. And you're going to get a saran wrap and you're going to saran wrap this right away. As this happens, I'm not sure if you're able to see, unfortunately that's why I said that it's so good for you to come up here, is that once it starts to brown a little, it starts browning on the bottom, you're going to add a little bit of water, not too brown, but just a little bit of water. And what the water does is it lifts off the brown from the bottom of the pot. Okay? Yeah. And then it starts to coat the onion. Same thing, I'm going to do this with the tomato, but this one's a little bit faster. All I want to do is just get the tomato to be slightly cracked, like the skin is cracked, so that you're able to peel it off. Okay? You won't be eating the skin. Oops. Well, that'll be fun. Lay this on the side. I remember when I was in a restaurant, I used to like put my hand over the flames because of, just to grab something at the back. But it's really funny because of the flames, it actually sears all my arm hair, and I would have none. So it's like a free wax. So do you see that it's starting to char? The smokiness of it is in here. Alright. Okay. Once that's done, you're going to put it back in here. And what the steam does, it just lifts the skin off. Oops, sorry, I ripped it. Let me get another one. It lifts it off. Okay? From the skin off, from the actual skin of the flesh that we want to go and keep. Right? I'm going to have my potatoes. You can peel the potatoes or else you don't have to. It's up to you. If you're not going to, just make sure that it's nice and clean. And also, I find that sometimes it gives it some nutrients, texture. Okay? So, yeah, I'm going to take my time with my caramelized onions because I want it right. So, get this going first. And it's going to take a little while. Usually, caramelized onions take around half an hour at least. Okay? So, this is the very key part of it. While this happens, I'm going to start browning my potatoes. I'm going to turn this to medium. And I'm going to go and slice my potatoes. So I'm going to keep the peel on for this one. And I'm going to cut it nice thin slices. You don't necessarily have to make it thin slices, but you do need to make sure that it is, there's different ways of doing it. For me, I like it so that it's crispy potatoes in the
it's the omelet. And then a lot of them, they actually cut in thicker pieces of potatoes. You could dice it, you could slice it, you could just cook it until it's just slightly cooked. And then it doesn't have to be brown at all. And then you can just put it onto tortillas. So my version is that I wanted to have caramelized onions and I want to brown the potatoes. You don't necessarily have to do that, all right? And nor does it have to be 100% like julienne or. So think about the cut, what you want from it. Now this is important. Deciding on your cut is very, very important. Why? Because when you are deciding on a cut, it determines how your texture is going to be. For example, if I cut my potatoes really thin, right, I'm going to have thin layers. It's going to have a completely different texture if I'm going to go and make large chunks. All right, I ate a dish recently, and I hate celery. And I hate celery sticks, everything else. You can cook it, you can not cook it, you can do anything to it. I loaded on peanut butter before, lots of it, and I just hated it. And then and when people dice like celery, it just doesn't taste very good. But then I had a dish that had raw celery in it, and I was like, oh no, I'm not sure if I like this. But it cut really, really, really small dice, and it shows this artwork of the chef. But at the same time, when I ate it, it was so delicate that it's just refreshing. It was like a nice crunch to it. And I'll show you afterwards as a demo. When you eat one thing and it's cut a certain way versus another thing, it completely changes how the dish goes. So just to keep that in mind when you're cooking, okay? Your cuts do matter a lot. So remember, there's certain ways that I want you to cut things, and it's just the ones I've shown you from before. Okay? I'm gonna go and lay it all out, add a little bit of salt all over it. You can add a little bit of pepper. It's up to you. Thank you. All right. And this looks like it's almost done. So, which is good. I can go into the next stage. So, I'm not adding a lot of water. I'm adding it a little bit at a time. I'm going to take my olive oil. Right? Season my pan. Right? If you add your oil to a cold pan in the beginning, it doesn't matter how much oil you're going to add, it's still going to stick. It's all about seasoning the pan properly and making sure that the food is added the right time. So it's okay. So a nice thin layer, and I'm going to do it at a medium heat. We're going to take away. Okay. And then you're going to go and add a little bit of salt on the top. Okay? Rearrange everything so it fits on the pan. Okay. So this is basically done. It's nice brown. I could go a little bit further, but for the time's sake, we're just going to leave it as this. And at this point, I'm going to turn this off. And I'll have my onions ready. Half of it's going to go into my omelet and half of it's not, or my tortilla. Alright? While that happens, I'm going to go and start preparing my pepper. I've steamed it already. Notice that before it was like a nice dome, and then now it's flat. That means that it's ready to go. I have this on nice low, medium-low heat so that it slowly cooks my potato without burning it. All right. You want to make sure that you have enough oil so that it's an even distribution of browning. Okay. If you see it splotchy, that just means that you didn't add enough. Okay. Turn it down a little. Yeah. Nice and low. While this happens, whoever's doing this, you're going to have really messy hands. So if I were you, I would get a paper towel ready to go. Try not to rinse it as much on the pepper. Okay, so I have this nice black charring. I'm gonna peel this off nicely. If you actually charred it enough, the peel will actually come off very easily. So you'll notice which areas you didn't char and which areas you did. Got that. That's my tomato. I just check on my a little bit. My potatoes. And then my pepper. If I were you, another hint that I can give you is just take the dull part of your paring knife, take a paper towel, and just start to peel it off. Okay? You don't want any of the black stuff, the burnt parts to go into your food, nor the seeds. So take the time to go and clean it properly. So it seems like for Spain, things are getting a little complex. Spain is also the area where modern cuisine started to happen. French was classical, and Spain had all these modern cuisines, which I'll show you some books after this that will show you how they took something that's a regular dish and they made it so it's a little bit different. A twist to it using science. So you can combine science, cooking is a form of science, with cooking. So that you can, it's edible science. So, take this little black, get it all off. Alright, take your hands, wrists. And I'm just gonna try not to get the drowning in the water, because the water takes away the smokiness of my pepper, and I just don't want that. So just being gentle, try to get everything off. Okay, once that is done, start to slice and dice. So you can dice it, slice it, remember your choice of what is best. I'm going to flip my potatoes over and pull them brown. How do you know when my potatoes are done? What's my indication? You guys cooked potatoes before. So how do I know when my potatoes are done? Oh. Yeah.
When you put a fork in it and it can it comes off.
Yeah, when you put a fork in it and it's able to come off the fork really easily. Okay? It can be a fork, a knife, alright? And you don't want it to be falling apart. But you want it to be able to nicely. Okay? So talking about what you ate yesterday? Oh, that just went on YouTube. So funny. Actually, some of my friends started looking at this already, and they're like, oh, I just can't wait to see if you can say someone's name up there in the middle of cooking. I was like, yeah. They really wanted me to discipline you all. I was like, no, my students are great. Oops. Just went inside my door. Alright. So you're going to take this off. If we're going to make a tomato sauce, we'll keep it the inside. Alright. So at this point in time, you can dice it, you can slice it, it's up to you. Nice and clean, put this away. Are you able to see, guys? Yeah, it's a little bit difficult. So I turned this off already because I know that this is done. I'm able to take a knife, put it in and out, and it doesn't lift off. Okay? You can do that with a fork. So I'm just going to make this into a dice for this one. Okay? And remember, how you cut things is key. If one is too big and one's too small, it will cook unevenly, and you'll have the dish is not going to turn out very well. So cutting is properly is actually a very key thing, making sure all of them are the same size. Okay, got that. I'm just going to go in. I think I'm going to make short strips for this one, just to give it some different texture. So you have some green in there, and you have some red, and then we're all ready to go. I'll have half of my onions. I'm going to go and actually put to the side now. Okay. However much you want. All right. And I'm going to turn this part back on. This is done. So I'll put this right over. Excellent. And I'm going to go and start. To heat this up and add my garlic. So my first step in order to create development of flavor is I'm going to start with the most flavorful stuff first, which will be my onions, my garlic, and my spices. Okay? You need to saute in oil in order for it to come out. So I'm going to go and add, you guys want it to be hot? Danny, you want it hot? That's like a no-brainer, right? Add a little bit of chili flakes, however much you want. If you want that, I'm going to go and add my smoked paprika. Alright. Anyone know anything about smoked paprika? Whoever was doing that.
You don't need very much.
You don't need very much. Is it very strong?
Yes.
Yes. So how is it? How's it made? I'm going to add my garlic. How's smoked paprika made?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh. Aren't you know smoked paprika?
No.
You smoke it. That's a great observation for a smoked paprika. I'm going to go and add a little bit of water just so that it alleviates the bottom. I put the garlic, the onions, and the spices in there, just trying to get it going. Then you must look at scared stuff and ask. On YouTube too. Okay, and then in goes the tomato. All right. So tomatoes in, peppers in, soaking up the sauce. And then I'm going to go and put my tomatoes in. So this is actually canned tomatoes ready to go. It is also frozen, yes, because it got put out the freezer. So I'm going to take a little bit of it. This is tomatoes. So we're going to make a ragu, which is a sauce, right? So piperade is a saucy dish. It's like your ragu. Remember your mushroom ragu you put over your polenta before? You guys remember that? So you want it to be thick. It's not going to be running little bits of water anywhere. And you just let it go. and cook down. All right. Once that's done, you're gonna start doing your tortillas. All right. Your tortilla will be layered on here first on a low heat. Then you're gonna go and layer your potatoes. Awkward. Let's do it this way. Okay. Pick up the onions, put it in. Put it on. Then do another layer again. Okay, so this is done. And you're gonna do some more onions right on top. It's like a layered cake almost, but you're using onions and potatoes. Now take your eggs, 2 eggs, a little bit of water, and to loosen up the protein. You can add milk if you want to. You can add some salt just before you're ready to go with it. And you're gonna whisk it up. Now I have this on low heat, and you'll see why. You can add herbs in it if you want, just to give it your own take. But this is basically what it is. You can add some spices if you want, up to you. And at this point in time, you're going to pour it all in. And make sure my ragu is starting to dry, loads of flavor. And I'm going to pour this in, making sure that I have it all in between the cracks. And it's completely covered. Okay. And this is the part where you're going to have a little bit of trouble. It's trying to maintain the heat, make it cook without getting it too brown. Okay? One way that you could do it so that you can cook the top part is set your oven on broil. You know where the heat comes on the top? Okay? When you have it at broil, what will happen is the top part cooks while the bottom cooks too. That way, you don't have to worry that the top part is going to be liquidy. Okay? Or the other way is that you can flip this whole thing over. If you guys want to do that. You guys want to do that? So, nice omelet. You go for it. Okay. So, minimal brown. You're going to go make it. All right. So, what did you guys find about Spanish cooking at this point in time? It's really light. It's complex.
Like there's lots of things that it takes a lot of different time Italians manipulate that.
Yeah, and it's low and slow. It's a little bit more complex than you think. Yeah, that's true. Anything else? The flavors are a bit more complex, right? It's all the spices. It's lots of flavor. Lots about seafood. Okay, Spanish really know how to eat. Can I get a little bit of sherry vinegar? Who was talking or thinks sherry vinegar is in there? What about sherry vinegar? That's really good. Anyone was studying about sherry vinegar? Ah, Sophie, you are studying that. Okay. What about it? Also good about sherry vinegar. What is it made out of? Vinegar. Do you know what vinegar is made out of?
It's great.
Hmm? olives. Olive oil is made out of olives, but sherry vinegar, or vinegar itself, isn't. It's fermented from what? From grapes. Yeah. Or anything that was able to be alcoholic. So when you take anything that's alcoholic and you let it kind of sit there for a little bit while, after a while it actually turns into into vinegar. So you can take a really, really good wine, and then afterwards, if you actually add it to, if you actually just leave it for too long, what will it do is that this really good wine turns into really good wine vinegar. Yeah. So think about it that way. Sometimes people let their wine sit for years, and it turns into vinegar instead of wine. Okay? Which is kind of sad, because when you drink it, it'll be funny. Like, oh, this is a really good wine, and then, okay, so do you know what I'm doing here? I'm actually just I'm lifting up the sides, and letting the liquid kind of hit the bottom. Okay. The ragu is basically done. And you can do whatever garnish you want to go and do this too. You can put a lid on it if you want also, just so that it actually cooks properly. Just give it a steaming action. This is done. It's all ready to go. You can add chopped parsley, anything you want. It should actually taste, mine's going to be spicy. I added a lot of spice to it. There you go. It's for you. Oh yeah, there's a kick to it. Anyone not like that, heat? Oh, I'm so sorry. It's not. Are you going to go and take this ready to go?
You don't have to cook the other side?
You can. Do you remember that I can put it onto broil?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that. The other thing I can try to do is try to flip it. Unfortunately, it's not solidified enough to do so. We'll see. I can do it. We will see. Oh, potatoes are not set as much as I wanted to. So at this point, you should put it into broil. I'm sorry, something's in my oven right now, so I won't be able to put it to broil. Let me try doing it. Oh, it's a little bit better.
Oh.
There you go. Heat up the last bit.
How did I get
How did what?
I was so cool. It was like,
Did you see it?
no.
No, you didn't see it?
Go on YouTube, you see that.
You can see it as replay after.
Slow.
So you have a little tortilla now. So do you understand why it looks like a tortilla? Then you're going to go and cut it into slices using a sharp knife. You don't have to plate it all. You can always just plate a little bit. So I'm going to do mine in wedges. So the potatoes are cooked. That's why it's so easy to go and cut. And because of the egg is actually intact. Right? That's why you're able to go and plate it. So add a little bit of the ragu. And it seems like it's like, oh, it's not very tasty looking. But you'll see that when you have it, you'll hear about, understand the complexity of the dish, okay? The flavors and everything else that you have. start doing your plating. Right? Go this way. Alright. Take a little bit of olive oil, as usual. Have you guys learned that trick yet? You guys are still learning, eh? Remember? A little bit of green just to make it look pretty. And there you go. Alright? Are you guys ready? Okay, guess the chord.
That's a 5 of 5.